Welcome back to the Real Walking Cast. This is episode 104. I am your host, Matrix Lord 212, and I'm with Connor. What's up, Connor?
Shit.
What's up, Mike D?
Shit.
All right. So, let's get back into this Walking Dead fiasco over here. Chris, nobody gave a crap. He died, basically.
The fuck is
Now we got this bullshit where Nick led all these people almost to their death with the freaking military shooting at them. We don't know what the hell's going on with that. We don't know if Ophelia is in the same place as Nick is now, which I'm more than likely it's probably the case. And then we're hearing word that Daniel Salazar is going to return at some point in time in season 3.
Well, we said that was going to happen, and then they're going to curb Strand by having him at the hotel for a little while and kind of switch and have Daniel come in for a little while. And
yeah, that's what's going to probably happen. Daniel is going to probably bump into Strand, and then they're going to meet up with Madison and Nick and Ophelia, and then I guess by the mid-season finale of the third season, probably everybody will get back together or something like that. Maybe they'll find the Abigail, I guess. I'm pretty sure they're going to find the Abigail again.
Well, they're pretty good at just randomly going somewhere and finding what they need, so they'll just, wherever they walk, I'm sure they'll run into the Abigail, you know?
Yeah. But I just find it interesting how the plan is, I guess, for AMC, because Kirkman basically slipped saying that he has plans for Travis beyond season 3 into season 4, and they only have season 3 commissioned, so they must really be working now on season 4, like ahead of time, because, you know, I mean, I'm pretty sure they have the scripts ready for season 3 that they're going to be filming now, I guess, because Walking Dead, I think, is just about done filming, right, for that mid part. So I don't know. I mean, we're going to have that air now. Again, with The Walking Dead, I mean, once you get over that first minute or two, I just hope it's not a disappointment. Like, we all know it's Abraham and Glenn. Like, because that would be the worst thing in history if it was that predictable. I mean, do you have anything on that?
I still think it's going to be Abraham and Glenn, like we talked about for a long time.
I mean, if it was Daryl, that would have been better, but I know that Daryl's probably going to die at some point in time in season. I think he's going to die in season 7 because he already moved and everything. So,
shit,
yeah.
There'll be a lot of people wearing black if they kill Daniel, man. Or
yeah.
Daryl. I said Daniel, Daryl, whatever the fuck.
Okay. Man, you're fucked up tonight. Like man.
Pyramid of all.
This motherfucker makes fun of me.
Pyramid
fucking time. Like I don't fucking ever see Pyramids of Mars. Like, I own the fucking thing. And it's like,
well, the difference is I catch myself and correct myself. Fucking Valentine's Day.
You guys fucking talking about Kim Kardashian and fucking Lindsay Lohan on the fucking Walking Dead cast.
She took a shot in the ass.
We should have said this is the Who Wars segment.
God.
You know? Shit.
Well, what about we didn't address the thing with Nick with at the end of the episode where they show up within eye shot of, I guess, like some sort of base or something there in the military.
Nick, man, I mean, he has.
I wanted him to die.
You want to punch his fucking face. I can't stand. Yeah. I mean, it's just ever since he was the beginning of the whole Fear Walking Dead. It's like, you know, he wasn't a lot. Wow, even Connor don't like him. Damn, but
Nick is like he's like a C or D grade greaser Johnny Depp wannabe or something. I mean,
you know, it sucks. The guy took him in, right, Alejandro.
Yeah.
This motherfucker's sitting next to him, and he's like, "Yeah, so you're gonna die and stuff, you know. So let them leave. Let them leave. Let them leave. Let them leave." And he's being like a real dick, you know. The guy gave him a house. He's got a girl. They didn't have to do that for him. They could have let. He was starving. He was thirsty. He was hurt. They took him in. And this little disrespectful bastard's like talking to him like, "Yeah, just let's leave, right? You know, you're dead already. It's over." It's like, how fucking cold are you? So I'm like, I'm just not. I can do without Nick. Hopefully he gets done. I think he'll be expendable, though. I don't think he's going to be kept around. I think they will never kill the daughter, Alicia, because that's too much for Madison, you know?
You don't think Nick's going to be like, Carl,
No, I think Nick is going to die. I think Nick is expendable.
Oh, that'll be like the best episode ever. They need to get him like torn apart and drugged like in like 4 different directions by the undead.
I think they have plans to have like Daniel Salazar with them for season 3 and 4. Maybe he'll die in 4. Because I don't like they're not going to kill the original group. So there are some expendable people. I think Nick's story will end next year. Or, I don't see him. He's not really, he's just a jerk.
Well, didn't we start? We started with Nick in a similar fashion that we started with Rick in Walking Dead, where we had the storyline kicked off through Nick's character, right? When he's in the church.
He wakes up.
Yeah.
Right. So is that you're saying that he can't die because he's the show?
Well, no. I mean, I was saying it's something to think about. Maybe in their mind he's the show, whereas like we're not really that impressed.
I hope not.
I like. To me, Madison's kind of the show.
Me too. I mean, our Strand and Travis totally. I mean, he's definitely going to be a forever on there. But I think that Ophelia, like, they're going to keep Ophelia for a while.
What if Nick turns bad and they end up having to kill Nick?
I don't think so because regardless, he's always a good guy, but he's a dick. So I don't think so.
Well, that could have the makings of becoming a bad guy.
I don't see anybody. I honestly, I really hope it that when Salazar comes back, he's with Celia. Because that would make total sense, because that she grabbed him and woke him up, hey, let's go. Like that because she didn't look really worried at all when she was locked in there. Almost like there's another room in there that she knows where she can go.
Well, Celia, she was the nutty one that wanted to preserve the dead, right? Like they.
Yeah, but it looks to me like she knew how to get out of there. Like she wasn't really concerned. She's like, "Oh, this is an inconvenience." So when Salazar looking and everything's burning up around him, I'm sure Celia grabbed him, and they had no choice, but they had to team up to get out of there.
Maybe they can have the guy that wrote One More Day, Straczynski, come in and write season 4, because you love that storyline.
Well, honestly, it will always go down in history as the most uncharacteristic story. Like that Peter Parker was out of character. Like it went against every single thing that they said you can't do with Spider-Man. He just did. So, like, it will never, unless they undo it, it can never be forgotten. It's horrible. But again, it's kind of odd how he has that legacy with Babylon. Well, I don't want to really get into this on the Walking Dead.
Yeah, I wasn't trying to sidetrack. I was just making a joke, but
yeah,
I'm kind of curious how far they are willing to see about stretching out Walking Dead, because I was thinking about what you said the other day about they were going to continue doing it as far as they're concerned, from what they're saying, ad infinitum. Sort of like a Star Trek sort of thing where it'll never truly go away. But we already know they wouldn't be that way anyway, because if there's money to be made, I mean, we know that from living life and witnessing things as you grow up, things work in 20-year cycles, entertainment-wise. Like what was popular like in the 80s kind of resurfaced in 2000s to 2010, and then the 90s are kind of like back. Everything from the 90s that people grew up with, because people that were usually in like their formative years and through high school are like adults now, into adulthood, they got kids, family, all that, so they're kind of living in their nostalgic period. So even if like Fear of the Walking Dead and Walking Dead went away, it's still going to kind of come back around in the future as a franchise or a brand, because that's why they're getting all these reboots from the 80s now, like Ghostbusters, for example. Right. That stuff came out in the 80s. So they're a little bit behind the time as far as that's concerned. But I mean,
but according to them, they said if Walking Dead actually ended, they would reboot it eventually. And that's not a good thing at all. I mean, they really don't see They see that there's always going to be something with Walking Dead, which I really don't agree with.
Well, I thought it's like they rebooted Fear the Walking Dead's like a reboot of Walking Dead. I mean, it's all like the same shit going on.
And the thing is that I honestly think they have a 5-year plan with Fear the Walking Dead. I don't think it's even 4. I think it's they plan on that being, it's just, I mean, they want Fear the Walking Dead to, I mean, because originally, what did they say, 12 seasons of Walking Dead?
I think you mentioned that.
So they want to have Fear the Walking Dead last as long as that.
Well, Nick, it's on in the background right now, and as I'm kind of looking over the MacBook and looking through into the other room, it's kind of reminding me of things to talk about with this show, but they're rehashing ideas that were already seen in Walking Dead, like the Mexican town that Nick is in. It's kind of like a rehash of like the prison and Alexandria.
Right.
All they do is just go like from point A to point B, set up this group of bad people they run into that they can't trust, and then they go to another, and it just seems like they're going to run out of like. Yeah.
You know what makes no sense to me? That place that had like the supermarket, right? You know how they had that whole community there with the supermarket?
Yes.
That was like a fortress. That was strong. Why the hell did every single member leave there? They weren't in jeopardy of getting attacked. They didn't have any walkers around. So why would they want to go to a shit area that has walkers everywhere where they have hardly any walkers near them?
Well,
that was a mistake. I thought that they just wanted to explain. Oh yeah, we need to have an invasion, and we need to go to. But that place was shit. The place that Alejandro was.
Well, it may be good. See, what's on right now, I left and took a potty break for about, 3 or 5 minutes. What's on right now I missed, apparently, where Nick is looking from, like, the street hillside, and he sees off in the distance the helicopter. I thought he saw the helicopter for the first time when they were, like, on that toll area going on the street at the end of the episode, but he's like, he says, like, holy crap or something. Right. But he's looking, but that seemed like it wasn't that far away. So, I mean, if they're building up their forces there, as we saw at the end of the episode with these military people, they might be moving out to scour and scourge the area. In the outline, sorry, I got tobacco in. It seems like it would just be a matter of time for them to keep working their way out to, like, go for more supplies. Because, I mean, if they got a military base there, and they bunkered down there, they've got no other option than to go out and forage around the area and pillage the area and shoot people and whatever and grab supplies and come back. So it looks like they're going into maybe like a Day of the Dead sort of storyline where they're going to deal, because we haven't really, I guess, like with Abraham being a former military guy, that we're going to see like a storyline maybe now where there's going to be like a military group at that facility, and they're going to be having to deal with them, kind of like a Day of the Dead situation where you got like the people trying to survive that are the civilians against the military mindset.
You know what I would do? Being that it looks like Abraham's going to die, right, on The Walking Dead, and being that fear is in the past, why wouldn't you just have Abraham being one of the military guys there? So while he dies in Walking Dead,
actually, that's something
you get to see.
That's something to think about, because, like, if that timeline wise could sync up, because he could very well be instrumental in maybe saving them somehow, or saving, and that could come back around to like the whole theory about Madison being Rick's sister, because before maybe Abraham gets really screwed up and doesn't die by Negan, but maybe like something happens before he dies. He mentions something to Rick about Madison, and that sets up kind of a future story thread where Rick knows now that Abraham knows that Madison's still alive, who's his sister, because we know from the past that Rick's from southern Georgia and Madison's from Alabama, which are very, like, they're right next to each other, so that's realistic. But but yeah, where I was going with that, I'm kind of going in different directions with this theory. But Abraham, he picked up Eugene somewhere in Texas, right? So if he was working his way east, if Abraham got out of this whole thing, say if he's actually at this facility in out on the West Coast, he would be working his way to the East Coast down, and he would go through Texas, along the Gulf Coast, like in the area I'm at, to go to end up where he is, where he met Rick. I mean, does that make sense geographically?
It does. I mean, it does. It makes sense, and it would also be a shame if they killed Abraham, because maybe there's probably a potential there with Abraham where they could basically say he knew stuff with the military that he didn't even tell Rick's group that could surface later on. Because in the comic, technically, that they're doing now, supposedly, what Eugene, I guess, is going to wind up seeing another community of military people. So if the TV show, they don't kill Abraham, they could probably use him as a huge plot device.
Well, I could see
that.
I could see like the cliffhanger sort of finale thing to like kind of tie the two series together is Abraham's dying, and Rick says something. They're talking as he's dying or something, and Rick says something, and Abraham throws off a line, says something about I once heard that an old buddy of mine out for the West Coast when this all stuff first started said that to me, and then mentioned Madison, and all of a sudden like something clicks in Rick's head, and he's like Madison, and he's like what Madison, like who, like what she describe her, tell me who she is or whatever, and then you get the impression then that, okay, Rick knows now his sister's still alive.
Well, even if he doesn't say Madison's last name, if he says Madison and Travis,
yeah,
he would know that
yeah,
his sister's, if that is his sister's, married to Travis. So that would be like if he just starts spurting names out, like Madison, Alicia, Travis,
yeah.
then it'd be like, oh,
yeah,
that's
he's like Madison,
that's my sister,
yeah,
and that's my niece.
Yeah, because he just said something like, Madison said that, and said, him saying, I just hope that what I did, for her and Travis and Nick and the rest, and then all of a sudden Rick, he looks over and he's like, oh shit, that's, what are you talking about?
That might work really well because Rick would have more family. He would have Alicia, who's a niece. He would have his sister, which is Madison, and his brother-in-law.
Well, see, if Kirkman does this, we're going to sue his ass now.
We've been calling that Madison's related to Rick for what? A long time now.
Since season 1, at least midway through.
Yeah. So.
And they just keep dropping hints about that. Because even the thing with Rick, with the guys talking about go with the boat.
Yeah, that could be the Abigail.
Yeah, because he could Rick wouldn't know about the boat. There wouldn't be any significance there. But the thing about California, because he would even know that his sister, even if he mentioned Madison, he would know ostensibly that Madison had left Alabama and had moved to California to take up, what was she, a teacher? Yeah, and she married Travis or whatever. So he would pick up on those
He probably thinks they're all, if he is related to her, he probably thinks she's dead anyway. Because, it's never come up. I knew that guy was not, didn't have a cure. I knew that guy wasn't, I knew that was bullshit.
Eugene?
No, I'm talking about Alejandro, that he said he was bitten and he didn't turn. I knew that was bullshit.
Well, we talked about that several casts back. I don't think any of us really thought that was true.
Yeah, that was just bullshit. Because they're not going to do anything big like that on Fear. They're going to do it on Walking Dead.
Yeah, and then Abraham could say, I know that, what's his name, Chris didn't make it, and Rick could just be like, oh, okay, well, that's not a big loss. I never liked that kid anyway.
You know what sucks? And I do got to say that I like, you and I, like all of us, we like reporting what could happen, whatever. But any organization out there that spoils the whole entire shit, that there's no purpose to that, because then you're basically defeating the show, and you're going to get it canceled. And then if your whole purpose is to show, you're not going to have a job. So like I hate that we know, like some of these people, they just leak so much stuff that we know everything. You know, I want to be surprised too.
That's something that's working against the show and the whole franchise too, is that it's gotten so big that they're convinced that they have to toss meat to the fan base portion that want the spoilers, that want to keep the word of mouth going, and that's why we've got like eeny, meeny, miny, mo commercials, like every commercial
7 friggin' months. 7. Just realize that, right? That is advertised more than, like, I mean, we have 365 days a year. Do you realize how many times a day that commercial was aired? 24-hour period.
Yeah, because it's on even when Walking Dead and Fear the Walking Dead are not on. They have it, like from what I've seen, on
And you know what? Honestly, it's they own the network, so they don't care. Do you imagine if somebody was advertising that on some other channel? It probably would cost like $100 million or something just to advertise like that. They keep doing it. It makes everybody sick. I get, like, when I hear that in the background, I feel like I want to throw up. I heard it how many times already. So, you know, it's just sickening. Enough with the Negan stuff already. I mean, people are going to start hating.
They're not maintaining the mystique and mystery of what's going to be going on. All they're doing is just further perpetuating frustration with people by shoving it down your throat every day.
Yeah, but you want to like him. You don't want to hate him. You don't want to be like, oh, here we go again. Like, you know, that's the point. It's like you're shoving him in everybody's face, and it's like, all right, they're going to want him to be ended soon, you know? So.
And they're tossing it up with different characters, like Rick and Michonne and Aaron, and I don't know, Daryl. I've seen those 4.